That's what people say. They go, oh, look, it says the stranger has one law with the Israelite. That's from that passage about the Passover. The stranger shall have one law with the Israelite. So everybody goes, oh, the stranger has one law with the Israelite. Everybody's supposed to be doing all the commandments of the Israelite. It's like, just read the passages that come before and after. It tells you several people who may not. So how do you go ahead and say that the stranger may? It tells you everybody. It literally says not everybody may do this. It's black and white. Because you go like this, and you see what you want to see.
Question on Isaiah 56, the foreigner that attaches himself to Hashem. Who is the foreigner? I know in the original Passover, I think it uses the word stranger.
Can I just add a thought, because I've been thinking about that very recently. I was told a long time ago that was proof that even the Ben Noah should observe all the 613 commandments.
What the questioner is referring to is a passage in Isaiah 56 about the Ben Nechar, literally the son of the foreigner, that joins himself to God. And William's referring to it, says, he says to him, this is what it says, Ben Adam, this is what a Ben Adam should do. Kol Shomer Shabbat Mechalalo, he should observe the Sabbath, not to desecrate it. V'Shomer Yado Me'asot Kol Ra, he should guard his hand from doing any evil. So it says the son of the foreigner. Now, another point you brought up is by the Passover, it says a stranger. So if I could just make a slight correction, by the Passover, a lot of people make this mistake, and this is to some degree in conflict. By the Passover, and I'm glad you brought it up, actually, there are a number of different individuals that are identified in their relationship to the Passover, okay? And some of them are told to keep the Passover, and some of them are told, no, may not allowed, okay? Both the Ger, the stranger, and the Ben Nechar are both mentioned in that passage, two separate individuals, the Ger, the stranger, and the Ben Nechar, the son of the foreigner. There's also the Arel, the uncircumcised, is mentioned over there. The Eved, the servant, is mentioned over there. The Toshav is mentioned over there. That means a resident. And the Sachir is a waged worker. All these individuals are mentioned. And the Ezrach. The Ezrach means the natural-born Israelite. So it says, the Ezrach must eat of the Passover. His servant that is circumcised may eat of the Passover. The Ger, the stranger, must eat of the Passover. The Ben Nechar, he may not eat of the Passover. The son of the foreigner may not eat of the Passover. The Toshav, the resident, no, he may not eat of the Passover. The Sachir, the waged worker, he may not eat of the Passover. So the Torah is clearly delineating there are different legal categories of people, and now may not be the time to flesh all them out, but the Passover, and this goes exactly to what I said before, the event of the Passover, the event of the Exodus, is where we were assigned the ritualistic observances for the nation that experienced those wonders to carry that sign forward and be a sign for the nations. Now, just think about it. If everybody was doing the sign, it ceases to be a sign, right? Because, why are you doing that? Oh, because I'm the nation that went through it. Yeah, but he's also doing it, and he's not the nation that went through it, so how is that a sign for the nation that it happened? If everybody's doing it, it ceases to be a sign. The sign is that the people who experienced it are doing it. That is the sign. Those are the people. It happened, look. Generation to generation, it's still enduring to this day. We know those events are true. I could talk a lot about this, but our time is short. So, the Ezrach is eating the Passover and the Ger is eating the Passover. Just to make it simple, the Ger is what we call a convert. That is a non-Jew who goes through a legal transition process where he joins the Jewish nation legally to be bound in all the commandments like a Jew. That's the Ger. The Toshav is essentially the Noahide, who the Torah says may reside in the land of Israel. He's a resident. He's allowed to reside in the land of Israel, even though he's not an Israelite. He's called a Toshav. The Eved is the servant of a Jew. If they have a servant that's non-Jewish, the servant is circumcised and he becomes obligated in a portion of the commandments, and he partakes of the Passover. The sachir, the waged worker, means, oh, maybe if this guy, he's also like my servant, because he works for me. No, but he's not your servant, he's your waged worker. That doesn't enter him into the status of, so to speak, being part of the family, if you will. So he cannot. So we see that there's clearly a delineation. Now when we get to the Ben Nechar in Isaiah 56, and it seems to be saying he should observe the Sabbath. So that really comes out of left field. Like, what's that about? So you have to look in the context, and you have to see that it's not just the Ben Nechar who's mentioned over there. Who else is mentioned over there? Anyone? Right? People want to go like this. That's why people say, they go, oh, look, it says the stranger has one law with the Israelite. That's from that passage about the Passover. The stranger shall have one law with the Israelite. So everybody goes, oh, the stranger has one law with the Israelite. Everybody's supposed to be doing all the commandments of the Israelite. It's like, just read the passages that come before and after. It tells you several people who may not. So how do you go ahead and say that the stranger may? It tells you everybody. It literally says not everybody may do this. It's black and white. Because you go like this, and you see what you want to see. So it talks about the eunuch. The eunuch. So what are these two? The eunuch, these are two people. They say, hey, nani eitz yavesh, I'm a dry piece of wood. God, what am I going to do? They say, I have no portion. So God says, no, I'm more of a portion to you than I'm your portion. You're my portion. You don't need anything else. What's going on over there? So it's mysterious, right? So I'm going to give you the key, but I don't know if you want to take my word. You don't have to take my word for it. But this is how we view it, and it resolves the problem. The Ben Nechar and the eunuch are two people that do not have Jewish offspring. The eunuch has no offspring. He's sterile. So he says, God, I have no continuity. I have no progeny after me to continue on and fulfill, to receive an inheritance in the land of Israel, to fulfill your law. I feel like I have nothing. And God says, no, you have me. I have you, right? He said, you're better to me than a son or a daughter, right? And so who are these? There's the eunuch. I mean, it's a Jew who's a eunuch, a Jew who has no offspring. Or the Ben Nechar means someone who was a Ben Nechar, but he joined himself to God. He transitioned from being a foreigner, that means an idolater, to being one who is joined to God through the covenant, though he has no children because he converted without children and now he has no offspring continuity. He feels like it's over for me. That's it. I'm going to leave this world and there's not going to be a trace of me left. So God comforts him and he says, I'll never forget you. You're going to be with me forever. You're going to be with me forever. So he's comforting the Ben Nechar who has joined himself to God. That is a euphemism for conversion. And the eunuch who is a Jew but has no offspring. These two, what do they have in common? They have no offspring. They have no continuity. And that's the lament in that chapter. And God says, I am your continuity. You're linked with me forever. Your soul is bound to me forever. Uses the term over there, Yad Vashem, a hand and a name, whatever that means. But that's why the Holocaust Museum is called Yad Vashem, based on that passage in Isaiah, that though those people are gone, but we created an eternal memorial for them. And that's based on the verse in Isaiah where he says, though you have no children that are continuing the covenant, but there'll be an eternal remembrance for you with me. That's our understanding of the verse. It's not referring to someone who is still a non-Jew and yet observing the Sabbath. So that's the traditional understanding. I could talk a lot about this, but our time is short.